Hello, Laurent Langlais here. Welcome back on my vlog. I am an astrologer and Feng Shui consultant, and I'm here to tell you about the month of the Ox. So it's roughly January 2016 in the Western calendar. In the Chinese calendar, it goes from the 6th of January 2016 to the 3rd of February 2016 included. And this is actually the last month of the year of the goat, okay? It's not the first month of the year of the monkey, okay? So as far as the Chinese calendar is concerned, we are still in the year of the goat, okay? So what are my predictions for this month? Based on the 4 pillars of destiny, so a system of coding the time in the Chinese calendar that works with a stem on top, on a branch at the bottom, okay? So it gets a bit technical, but basically the stem is the energy on the surface, and the branch is a deeper type of energy, and they both show celestial and terrestrial influences. So my prediction for this month, well, basically a giant meteor is gonna hit the Earth, and the whole human species is gonna die, and hopefully a better species will take over. Right, that was all for today. Thank you. Happy New Year. Wait. That's actually for next year, sorry. So for this month, it's a bit different and it's not as eventful. Still, if a meteor arrives at any given point in time, you heard it first, all right? So if we go back to the logic of Chinese astrology and the influence at work this month. So we have a yin earth month, okay, yin earth ox month, okay. The ox is already an earth sign, so we have earth on top, earth at the bottom, okay, and the ox contain metal as well, all right. So we have an earth sign, that's one of the 12 signs of the Chinese zodiac, and on top of it we have the earth energy in the 5 elements, so it's a very earthy month, and it takes place into a year which is already quite dry, okay, because this is a yin wood goat or sheep or ram year, and this is already an earth sign. So we have a clash of 2 earth signs this month, plus even more earth on top. First and foremost, this is a very dry month, okay, so it will have consequences for everybody's health and well-being. The kidney and the whole water element is fairly dry, okay, so I invite you to look into my article to see what I'm telling about this. But overall, in the whole world, the month is very dry, okay, and the water element, out of the 5 elements, okay, the water element that is controlled by the earth is, of course, lacking and very dry this month, okay? So that means different things. First and foremost, because this water element is a bit in trouble, we can expect problem with transport, okay, disruption, technical problem, mostly affecting road transport and also potentially plane, okay. So this is some of the news that should be heard this month, okay, problem with transport, disruption, technical problem, emergency landing, all those things, because the water element that is associated with traveling, the water moves around, okay, is very dry this month and lacking. Also, logical consequences, the water, physical water, could be lacking, meaning we could have some drought in some part of the world and lack of water. So last month, you know, the water was arriving quite strongly in the month with a clash of earth, so we had some flooding, okay, but this month the earth take over and the water is almost totally gone. So it doesn't mean we can't have more flooding, you know, this is a different logic, but at least in some part of the world we could expect shortage of water and drought and things like that, okay? Another consequence is we have a clash of 2 earth signs, okay, the goat and the ox, all right? So clash of 2 earths, what happens when 2 tectonic plates clash, okay, or move on top of the other? Well, of course, there is an earthquake. So some of you, you know, who read me and follow me for a while know that I like earthquake. Not that I like earthquake as an event. I wouldn't like to be stuck in an earthquake, actually, and I don't like what earthquake do to the world, but regularly in my prediction I talk about earthquake. That's what I mean. Why? Well, because some events are more biased, I would say, by the media. For some interpretation of human events can be really subject to different point of view, but an earthquake is just a fact. If there's a major earthquake, hitting a part of the world, it's just a fact. So if you predict, nature will have flooding, landslide, earthquake, or volcano, those are very precise facts, and they're, some of the type of natural problem you can have. Okay, so last month there was occurrence of earthquake because there was earth on top of water. Okay, so it collapsed, it's heavy, so we have things falling into the ground, building collapsing on earthquake. This month it's a different logic, earth versus earth, okay, like two tectonic plates. So another occurrence of earthquake. I can bet really with you that you can expect at least one major earthquake, if not more than one. Okay, so we will hear about earthquake. Another aspect of the very dry months on clash of the earth is more for human activity. If we have clash of the earth, earth is a rather conservative element usually. Here we have yin earth. So yin earth is more, it is akin to Mother Nature sometimes, to the mother with giving, okay? If you want to connect it to Western oracle on metaphysics, that will be the Empress, okay? Opposed to Yang Earth of last month, which was more the unmovable mountain like a father, okay? So it's a bit more motherish, but nevertheless there is a clash of two earth signs and it's fairly dry. It seems to indicate to me that we will have a lot of opposition of two blocks of ideas, East versus West, and of course conservatism versus liberalism. And we will have, with, for example, what Obama tried to implement in the US, we will have a lot of heated debate about gun regulation, about changing society structurally on people who oppose those things, okay? So you can expect a lot of conflict of ideas and debate around those things, and especially with the most conservative forces coming out and trying basically to make their point stronger and louder than other people. Okay, so this is a month where temporarily conservatism and traditional forces who wants to maintain the status quo in society take over, okay? That indicates as well that it's not necessarily a great month for advancing human rights, equality, gender equality, things like that. So good here was actually fairly good for example, with gay marriage, advance in Saudi Arabia for women's rights and things like that. But here with all this earth and static earth that try to take over, doesn't want to be moved too much, even if the movement will be, potentially earthquake. But in terms of advancing human rights, and especially for women or LGBT people, we're probably going to go a bit backward this month, okay? Right, so we have to look into what's happening at a deeper level between the two earth signs and what happened in what we call the roots, okay? Which basically the roots are contained in those signs, okay? There's a secret life of those signs, all right? So, first and foremost, we have ox and goat, or ox of sheep and ram together. So when those two signs are together, it's called a self-punishment when it's for a person, but here it's for the whole world. Okay, so it's a punishment formation. This type of punishment brings mistake of judgment, or tendency to make mistake of judgment. That means different things that will manifest through the month. First, it could be diplomatic mishaps on mistakes, where basically, politicians have to apologize for the attitude of a country toward another, things like that, okay? Second aspect, it could be basically a lot of famous people having to apologize for their work, okay? George Lucas, for example, apologized recently for what he said about Disney buying Star Wars, well, you could expect more of this type of scenario in this month, okay? But also, some brand will be in trouble, okay? Because if there were some hidden fact, well, because they're not too cautious, those facts will come out, and basically people will see it and they will have to apologize for their behavior. So we're thinking about Volkswagen, which had fairly bad and dodgy case this year with trying to basically hide their pollution from the car. Expect something along those lines as well, okay? So you will have problem for some brands, famous people, and basically mistake to be made, apologies, and mistake of judgment, okay? That will be seen through the whole month, okay? In terms of diplomacy, in terms of public life, and in terms of brand marketing, things like that, okay? Even things like a bug are not out of a question either, okay? Technical bug, all right? So that's for the punishment formation on the clash of the two earths. Another aspect with the clash of the two earths and lack of water that we haven't talked too much about is fracking. Well, you can be sure there will be problem with fracking this month, and fracking will be in the news, not for good reason. And you might have also follow the case that is happening in Flint, Michigan, in the US, where Flint is in a city that was made famous by some documentary. Michael Moore is from Flint, if I'm not mistaken. Well, in Flint right now, they have changed the water supply in the last couple of years, and this water supply is heavily contaminated with heavy metal and things like that, and a lot of citizens are getting very sick. So it's another scandal linked to water, contamination of water, and water is dire position this month, so we will hear about this. Okay, so if we go back now to the roots, in the roots we have a slightly different picture. So on top, the theme of the month, this month is yin earth, and the year is yin wood, okay? So the way it goes in the logic of the 5 elements, the yin wood of the year try to take from the yin earth of the month, okay? So on the surface, we would think, well, wood is winning over. But when we go to see the roots, the hidden stem, basically, in the two earth signs that we have, the ox and the goat, we see a different picture. We see different clashes. So we have a yin earth versus yin water. There is a bit of water, actually, in the ox, but it's not prominent, okay? We have yin fire versus yin metal, okay? That comes from the goat versus the ox, all right? And we have yin metal versus yin wood. So we actually, one of the major clash we need to take into account here is metal versus wood versus fire. That's usually not very good news, okay, for different things. First, we can expect a uprising of citizen protest, but that will be repressed with potentially violence, okay? Why? Well, uprising of citizen, of movement of citizen, is more a wood energy fueled by younger type of people, or at least, a youthful energy, youthful, th, not easy for French people, a young energy. And the metal itself is a force that can sometimes represent oppression, government, military system, police. Okay, so we have the clash of metal and wood that will express itself with government trying to repress citizen movement, and we have already talked about the aspect of conservatism that can be expressed also by government. But we have also the yin fire clashing with the yin metal. So there is the yin metal trying to control the yin wood, and the yin wood is getting agitated because it takes from the earth of this month. But on top of the yin metal, we have the yin fire that clash with it as well. That is a symbol of violence, and unfortunately, most likely another blood shell and blood spilling situation with potentially a shooting, potentially stabbing people or something of this nature. Could be a bombing as well. I don't want those predictions to be too fear and anxiety inducing. We will get to the good part very soon because there is a good part. But an event of this nature is still likely to happen, and I'm leaning more towards stabbing in public places or shooting. Most likely either in transport or either in school. Transport because the water is in difficult situations this month. On school because it's linked to the wood that is actually repressed. Okay, so that's the idea for the challenging event. And if you read the article, you will have the list of all the events I'm expecting. Okay, there is always a yin and a yang, a good side and a challenging side in every situation. The good aspect of this month, where there are numerous. First and foremost, the yin earth is also an expression of traditional people who take care of the land, okay? So I expect indigenous native people in different countries to win some fight against some government and win some fight over the land, like it has just happened in Indonesia over the past month, where it should happen still in that direction, okay? Native people are winning over, at least temporarily, and some of their rights are acknowledged and recognized. So that's a good thing. We should also see ideas, maybe studies, or maybe funding for new ideas around land management, but not so much with the craziness of GMO on terrible things like factory farming, more going back to holistic type of management on farming. Okay, so we are talking about the work, for example, of the Savory Foundation with carbon sequestration, carbon trapping in the soil with different plants and replenishing the soil. So replenishing the soil, trapping the carbon, but through the soil rather than limiting, gas and things like that. So what we can do with Mother Nature on the soil itself to improve human life, agriculture, nature, and so on will be much discussed, I suspect, this month, on significant advance will be made in this area. Otherwise, the strong earth is good news for the real estate. Real estate which might have taken a hit, especially with luxury real estate, with bombing in different cities this year on, the fall of luxury real estate due to difficult situation. Well, this month, the real estate should do well, and we should hear about spectacular properties sold, from movie star or bought from other famous people and things like that. Okay, so this is another positive aspect of the month. In terms of science and medicine, I expect a strong month. Discovery in science, so in the field of bacteriology, virology especially, in the field of cardiology and also eyes, eye surgery or eye treatment, or potentially technique related to eyes, so screen, for example, computer screen, things like that. We should hear some interesting news, discoveries or studies. We should also hear about potentially the discovery of a moon, a new moon, a new meteor, or a new comet or celestial body. So actually, when I was talking about a meteor, well, it's not totally off the map, but it shouldn't hit the Earth and destroy us all yet. Okay, so that's good news. That's another news to rejoice about, isn't it? Then we will have the movie industry that will keep a very strong performance. So technically the year of 2015 for Western calendar is over, but we are in the continuation of this growth here, which has been especially good for the movie industry of Hollywood. It will keep being strong this month, guaranteed. Also in terms of archaeology, this is a month that will reveal very spectacular findings, especially, in my opinion, around tomb, hidden treasure, old weapon loss, from different wars and so on. But expect spectacular discovery in archaeology and history with new fight brought to life, because there is so much earth on Clash of the Earth that things will be revealed that were buried, that were underground, okay, in the earth. Sorry for the French accent. I don't think I'm gonna get rid of it anytime soon. So we better get used to it. Alright, so we will have spectacular discovery in archaeology and in related to this field of history and archaeology, I expect a foundation or organization like the UN or UNESCO or things like that to include the protection of some cities or parts of countries that were not protected yet, because the months with the Earth, in strength, is favorable for this kind of protection on aspect that should appear during the month. Okay, so those are positive aspects. And as far as the stock market is concerned as well, because some of you I know look into astrology for stock market. Well, the fire is not very strong this month. The metal is, however, stronger. So we will see some up down of the stock market, but we shouldn't see a new low or a crisis of the stock market at this stage. However, the Yang Fire Monkey years arrive, and that will be a bit of a roller coaster for the stock market, guarantee. So we'll get back to this in my prediction for the year. Okay, but those are the two aspects, positive and more challenging, of this month overall. And I invite you to read also the articles that goes with this video to discover more about the prediction of this month, the logic, and also the prediction for your sign on your Batsu 4 pillar if you know it. Okay, and of course you can contact me if you want your personalized 4 pillar chart and know about your life on tendency for 2016. So my blog website is www.laurentlanglais.com, LaurentLanglais, and I'm very happy that you were listening to this video and watching it with me today. And I hope to see you soon again on my vlog and blog, and I welcome your comment.